Hello YouTube, we got our door frame and our door done. This was square when I first grabbed this out of the scrap, so then I worked my way around it. But this thing, like I said, was a 1/16 of an inch wider. We're gonna go this way. It always looks taller when you put it on the stove. So we want to make it a little, so it looks a little wider. We've got notes in here. There's a top on the inside. See, going this way, it's a 1/16. If you turn this around, 1/16 just wider. This I had to mark because I was trying to straighten out, so I made sure I put it on there and marked it was okay. Inspected. We got this marked for the top. We did one little thing wrong, but oh well. Well, we spot welded this, okay? We spot welded it too far. We ended up cutting it. See that? We forgot we were going to cut some metal out about this much, so we got carried away spot welding. But you live and you learn. I mean, it's super strong. Then we went back outside and welded it in there. See that? All that spot welding. Oh, in the other video I mentioned, you don't know how good that spot welded. Well, it busted. When I cut this extra stuff out, say this was it busted loose. And I'd mentioned that. You don't know how good that spot weld is. Then we came out here, and you remember the gap that was in there? We filled that in like we would a big door frame. Remember I always tell you I cut the inside, it makes that gap. We'd hammered this straight as we could. It's not real angular. It's not perfect. See that? We're getting so close. And then we rounded out with our sanding drums and stuff. So it's just a stove. And with the door on it, when the door is closed, it looks okay. So I think you'd agree. It's just a stove. We don't want to spend oodles of time of, I mean, somebody could fill that in and try to get rid of them gaps. But this ain't bad stuff. For being curved, it takes the hassle of sanding it. And you're going like this with a drum sander. You're rolling the edge over like this. And then after you do both sides, you're coming here and you're rolling off the corner. And then you're standing it up and doing it, looking at it. So it's not too bad for being curved, if that's what you like. It's not bad. Okay, next to start measuring out to fit it to the stove. We're just gonna put some measurements. We want this mounted on here with hinges before we mount this on the stove. So say something's off. Say we got the door off a little bit on this frame. We'll kind of fudge it around so everything looks good. But it's just a stove. I think you know what I mean. Get all this built first, so then you can kind of move around. We're going to try not to weld the top. Okay? We're going to try to spot weld from the inside and not even mess with the top if we can get it flat. I've ordered some brazing rods. We'll just say what they are, and you'll see what they are when I get them. That might be a little better for brazing some of this weird metals. Okay, break time we talked about enough. I figured spend some time on here if somebody wants to do this. Because this is like one of the hardest parts of the stove. We have no idea what kind of air vent will be on the bottom of the stove. No idea at all. So, or how the chimney's going to be put on. We're just concentrating on this part. So stay tuned. Okay, we're getting our hinges figured out. Look how magnetic that is. Wipe that off. Just keep staring at while I clean this. Everything in here is magnetic. These are at an angle right here, and they have to be, but it doesn't matter. See, I came down a 1/4 inch on the door, and then a 1/4 inch in, and I've got a big magnet back here that I had down inside of here. It won't fit now because the bolts are long. Remember, it's just a stove, so that's about as straight as I can get it. You can always make holes a little bit bigger. Wipe that pointer off again. I wouldn't make them bigger on the door. I'd make them bigger here so you can fidget stuff around, you know, move it up and down first before I made them bigger here. Because these are stainless. I haven't tried spot welding these. Someday I'll try spot welding or weld on one of these bolts and see if it'll take. The stainless, for some reason, I keep thinking you can't weld it, and I'm sure no matter what wire you got, it's going to something's gonna happen. Okay, enough talk about that. I just thought I'd show this a little bit of detail. If you find this same kind of angle iron, that you could work around it. I have a measurement on these hinges somewhere. They're like 3/4 this way and 5/8 the other way or something. I have it in a video. You find them in the home supply stores. Little bitty hinges. I've thrown away the package for them, but you can find them. They're out there. Oh, I put the side that's got 3 over here while we think about it. See that? So what I do is I put the side that everything's magnetic. There's 1, 2, 3 goes to this part, getting framed. Again, 1, 2, 3, no time to edit, goes to this part. That's just how I do them. Instead of that big magnet bag in there, that's out of my little parts tray. I took it out to turn into the lid for the stove. Frustration. Okay, break time. Okay, we're drilling our first holes with the drill press on a project. We're spotting these center punch marks, and we're at a real slow speed. I'll turn this on so you can see how slow it is. And we'll probably drill that slow because that bit was flexing. There's still a bit of rock in this, but it's not bad. That's enough to cause that bit to start flexing. So let's get this done. We're going to switch to the bit size that we need and get the holes drilled. Okay, we drilled the hole all the way through, and we're a real slow speed. I know we're hanging on this. Do not do what I do. I mean, you know you have stuff in a vice case that spins, but this is going so slow that I'm willing to gamble I can jump back and shut this off. And not hit full speed. I said, don't do as I do. Do it the way you want to do it. I'm not responsible. Okay, we got our holes drilled. And we were drilling so slow that if we pressed hard in this metal, it would stall the drill. Okay, now we have to, this is the problem with making these anglers. We have to cut that out to clear the bolts. Which is no problem. We'll just mark. And we're not going to be precise. We're going to just super precise. We'll just cut it out. We'll know about how big the nut is on the other side. We'll just go ahead and cut it out of there. We'll do it like this. See? We'll mark it. We'll maybe set a nut up here. See how small they are down in there? And decide how much needs to be cut out. We may make one big cut or 2 on each hinge. I haven't decided. It's only a door frame. It might be just cut the whole thing out. It's kind of tricky when you're back here with a cutter wheel, but we'll see what happens. We may have to take the hinge all the way off again. We've got these long bolts. See that? Which we'll cut off later. That's all we got left. We use the short ones. Always use your short bolts first. You can always cut a bolt out to make it shorter. Don't run out of long bolts. So this is the next size up. You know, they should last through a lot of projects, that bolt kit that I've shown. I've shown it before several times. They're the button type screws. You know what I mean. Allen screws. These are 3mm diameter bolt. Okay, back to work. Okay, this is how much we had to cut out. So we'll duplicate that on all 4 when we cut the bolts off. Be careful when you're here with a cutter blade, you don't hit like this edge. You know, make something look bad, like your edge of your stove door or something. So be careful what you're doing. You know, I might hit that little nut right there a little bit, but that does not matter because these are tight. Okay, back to work. I think you know what I mean there. Here, we'll flip it over once. See? It's sitting more than level. More than flat. See? So more than enough. Back to work. Okay, we're done with this part. We are going to put some gun blowing on there. We had to take some off this edge because it was to the left too far. Okay, look at the gap, look at the space there. It's a little too long on the bottom. Would you go through trouble taking that off, or you just forget about it? We never seen that, did we? Would you go through all the trouble? It took a lot of belt sanding and disc sanding on this side to make it even. You're looking at the stove like this, okay? Would you take that off of there? What would you do? We're gonna leave it. Okay, now we gotta take this off. We got all the screws to clear. We may have to put new screws in. We just chopped them with our bolt cutters. The thing's hard to fumble around with. And talk about grungy, you don't want to handle your bare hands. We just took a whole bunch out of it, made it easier to cut out. Because we broke an arbor. We broke the screw right off, but the blade caught and it actually busted the screw in the arbor. That's not good. We don't want to be short those. I think you get the idea why you need the clearance. That's what you got to do and use little bitty hinges. If you had bigger hinges, see, you wouldn't have that problem. Your bolt would probably be out here somewhere. But it works. Here's a question. Why do these doors always open this way with the hinges on the right of every wood stove you see? Why can't it be like this? Why can't you be different? Your right hand, you open over the right hand and move that way. Okay, we're going to take this off, sand it down. We're going to put some perma blue on it. We do not want this door shiny. This can be shiny, it'll get dark over time. We want this door dark. The dark, black, bluish looking. So we're going to take a break. We'll do that, and we'll try to leave a picture before we go inside and put all this in there. But that's the end of this episode. See you next time.